Okay. The podcast has begun. The prophecy has started, where we rise to fame and just become the best podcast in the world. This is the prophecy that's begun. The manifestation of the future has begun. The Night Meetups podcast is here. Angus Munro, introduce yourself.
You just did. Yeah. It's been in the works. This has been in the works.
Definitely.
I mean, we say in the works, but it's been really just, it all comes down to fucking getting the ball rolling.
Comes down to effort.
Yeah. And money.
For sure. But it's like, spend money to make money. You got to put it in to get it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Tom?
didn't even introduce yourself.
Oh, everyone knows me.
Oh.
No.
Wanker.
Hey, you can't even introduce yourself. You sound like such a wanker when you... Hello, my name is Harrison Stratton. I am actually currently studying at university. Like, ugh, gross. You'll find out who I am through the conversation. I don't need to introduce myself. Jamie. Running the tech. Started. Before this started, we have no idea. We're lucky Tommy's here. Just as a preface.
The amount of effort just
legit,
to get two mics to work at the same time.
Up until 5 minutes ago, I didn't know what was happening, so we're good.
But it goes to show the situation we've been put in with our life. You've made this possible. Imagine us stumbling over to this. For whatever reason, we've had you as a friend in childhood. You've gone, you've come back. When you're like, we're like best mates. Like our whole group is so tight, so bad. And this man is a tech whiz, sound engineer, young Jamie on our side, running the tech for us buffoons, right? Us apes. This guy just knows what to do.
Bro.
What?
Matrix.
It is the Matrix.
We're gonna take off.
I think our individual lives are leading up to like we're taking advantage of the privilege that we have. It's like we're taking advantage of not all of it, but of what we've been given in life. Like not everyone has the chance to do this. Not everyone has a friend like this.
Yeah.
Not everyone has not everyone has a friend like I have to you. You know what I mean? It's pretty special. And when you can find that, it's fucking beast.
Yeah. I see so many friend groups that are just, you can tell are fake. And that's one thing that pisses me off, just fakeness. I said it last night, I'll say it again. Like, people just being like fake to one another just so they either don't have beef or something.
The table.
Or,
yeah.
I don't know. I just don't like fucking fake people.
It's not even like they're trying to be fake. It's the fact that like they're not comfortable in a situation, so they are just trying to chameleon to make you think that they're not being fake. You know what I mean? They want to be themselves, but they're so scared to be themselves because they're so scared of how society and how you will judge them. But if you're just a fucking cool, calm, collected man and you don't give a fuck what anyone thinks and you can just talk about the topics that you're comfortable with, like if you can talk about with a stranger a topic that isn't your hobby, isn't their hobby, isn't your work, if you can just say, hey man, like me and Tom were talking about yesterday, what's it like? Isn't it weird that like you can't just stand in the middle of your house and just be on your phone? You have to be on a lounge. Like it's just the way how we are as humans. It's just weird to do that. Or if you walk over to someone and you stand right next to them in an empty room, you have to talk to them. It's weird if you don't. It's a norm of society.
Yeah, but why the fuck would you just go over to a random stranger and just stand there next to him? You're
That's
obviously
what I'm
not
saying.
trying to be
but
like...
ready to that, right? You would never do that. But I'm saying, why can't I talk about that topic to a stranger? He can't grasp the frequency I'm talking at because he's just like, oh, what? I'm not friends with you. I can't, right? It's like, I can talk about that to anyone. Someone could sit down right here and whatever they're interesting, they'll talk about their life and they tell me a little nuance. I dig into the nuance. I go, oh yeah, well, why do your coworkers pick on you? What do you do that make them pick on you? Are you an easy target? Like shit like that. You can go into depth, but most people just go, yeah, work. What have you been up to? Nothing much. Just back to work. And you go, oh yeah. What are you studying at uni? Oh yeah, just uni. Doing uni? Yeah, fuck. Interesting, bro. Like there's no depth to conversations with strangers, but I feel like in our group, we just go in heavy. We're going deep. We just talk about whatever the fuck we want, which is what this podcast is, which is why we want to do this.
Yeah, like, I remember one thing that you said years ago to me. I think it was like even when we were at a
in the mic, bro. Keep it close.
I'm gonna fucking,
Yeah. You were like full looking at the ground like a spud.
Yeah.
Take the insult, absorb it, and then reject it, and
I'm
then
absorbing it right now. That's why I'm breathing.
Sarcastic.
Yeah. Hold
joke.
on, let me.
Sarcastic insult, bro. It's not real.
Nothing's real.
What were you saying?
Yeah, I was saying like, I remember. I'm not sure where we were, what we were doing, but like a couple of years ago, you were saying something like, isn't it strange how you hear birds and whatnot that could have just like fucking flown like past or just landed on the same tree? They will like talk. You can hear them like chirp or whatnot. That goes for any animal. But humans will pull up in a gas station, get out of our car. There'll be another fucking human right next to you, but you instantly put up a fucking guard to like not talk to them.
100%.
You're like, oh, I'm going about my day. It's a bit weird.
Yeah.
How we are as a society.
It's because there's so many of us, and that's the difference between living in a city and a country rural area. Because humans are still special. You see that person in the country as a human being, not as an obstacle as people see in the city. Human beings in traffic, they're in my fucking way. People on the sidewalk, they're in my fucking way. People at the counter, they're just fucking fuckwits. When you're in a country town, you're driving down the road, like out in the middle of whoop whoop, you see a car every like an hour, and every time, oh, you're waving at the window because that's a fellow human being. It means something to you. It's like you're in space traveling across the universe. There's no humans around, but when there's humans there, you take each other for granted, and that's where we lose that intimacy between our species. Like, people don't see humans as humans. People break up into races. People break up into cultures. It's bullshit. We're just you can talk to anyone and find something in common. It's not hard. You just have to ask the right questions.
Everybody likes like something. Everybody has something in common. Like, you just gotta make the effort to conversate.
Yeah, it's all about It's all about stepping out of your shoes and into theirs. It's a perspective. It's like, allow their thoughts to run onto you and then take in whatever their situation is, so then you can use your empathy. Like, they're struggling at work and you go, oh yeah, that would suck because, you know, you have a family, right? And they say, yeah, of course I have a family. And you say, well, what's that pressure like with your family? Do you feel like, you know, you're getting support you need as, like, say you're a man in the household and you're the pillar? Like, are you really being supported? Who supports you? And he'll be like, oh. Like, not many guys get asked that question out in the middle by a stranger, or even in their family or their friends. No one talks about that shit.
That question holds a lot of power.
It's
like, that
incredible.
could break a man. I feel like if you catch them in the right moment.
It's one of those things that's like, it doesn't get spoken about. Men health, you know, that could chop someone down, because it's true. That's one of the reasons why male suicide is higher than female suicide, because guys don't confide, especially adults, men.
Yeah, we just don't talk.
You know, you just talk shit, but there's no depth to it. But it's also, as you're an adult, you have all this pressure. You have this job you're maintaining. Your wife confides in you, because it's just usually, I know gender roles are changing, but there's like this evolutionary gender role where the man is a protective person. You see it with UFC fighters. The baddest UFC fighters will have like Navy SEAL husbands, because they still want someone to take care of them for whatever reason. It's not right, it's not wrong, but they choose to be like that because they want a man that they can't fuck up. They want a man that can take care of them. It's weird. So like, as that Navy SEAL, who's that Navy SEAL depend on? His other Navy SEAL mates, right? But if they don't have that, who do they have? It's no one.
Yeah.
They're just out. They're at the top of the hill. They say it's lonely at the top because you have no one else to fucking relate to. You can't aspire. You're there by yourself.
It's funny that you mentioned Navy SEALs, because that's one of, you know, the guy who played Kylo Ren in Star Wars, Adam Driver.
He's a stud.
He was a Navy SEAL.
Was he?
Yeah, and he started this drama course within like the Navy SEALs.
Whoa,
to get
that's
people
interesting
to
as
open up.
fuck.
Yeah, it was to get people to open up because of like people who like got PTSD after the Navy and wanted somewhere to kind of put their energy, just because they're
Expression.
That is awesome. Yeah.
To bottle it up.
Yeah. So it's like
Unbottle, I mean.
stage work and stuff like that. So like more like a play rather than like a movie or a screenplay. So they do plays and stuff, and he goes to the Navy and gets them to play roles and stuff like that if they're interested in it.
That's interesting as hell. Tom, you haven't introduced yourself. Introduce yourself. Plug the music, bro. Oh my god, get on that. Let's talk about.
Oh, nice one.
Fuck. Oh jeez, this table needs a screw or two, but
Fuck no, I won't be able to move it.
all right.
What,
Express
if I'm
yourself.
gonna plug myself? Well, I'm not like Mike.
Doesn't matter.
Nah, they'll hear.
Yeah.
We can deal with it for the first episode.
Is this the first episode?
This is the first proper episode.
Oh yeah.
So this isn't like a test. This
No,
is
I had a
like-
pilot episode we did just with phone on the table. I listened to it. It sounded alright. There wasn't much coherency because we were all talking over each other, but the chat was decent. So I'm like, let's just get into it. Why have a test episode? This is it.
Yeah.
It's only going to get better from here. We're already starting at a great point.
Well, I gotta say, even I could like pick up on the fact like how different conversations would start just by talking. Like it was a natural conversation. It wasn't forced. You were looking at dot points and stuff like that. Just one thing would lead into another.
I feel like if you're trying to extract information from a certain person, dot points might be required in case things go dead because you don't know them as a human being. They might not be able to grab onto the concepts. But our friends like us, we feed into each other's. It's like we spiral together. You know what I mean? We've grown up together. We know. We don't need dot points. Would take away the speciality. Like I thought about making dot points, but no.
And dot points would, like you were saying, dot points would be good for somebody that you're not that you're not comfortable with them, but you don't know them, you're not as close with them, you don't know much about them.
Like Peter Overton.
Yeah, like Peter Overton.
I would like to challenge that though. I would purposely not go in with dot points for if we were to do Peter Overton, because I would, because what is it? Overton. Yeah, see, I said that as well.
I thought it was Overton.
How disrespectful! I don't even know the man's name, and I would like to talk to him. Like, fuck me, it's disgusting. Like,
who knows? We could be wrong.
I need to learn his name. Yeah, I don't know, but like that whole point is just I don't like it.
Jamie, yeah, pull that up, Jamie.
What were we saying? Fuck. Yeah, Peter Overton. I wouldn't want dot points because I feel like it would pull you out. Because as he's talking, your mind, your conscious mind, your subconscious is taking it in. It's interested, but your conscious mind is focusing on what do I ask next? What's next?
Yeah.
What's next?
It's Overton.
What is it?
Overton.
Overton.
54 years old.
What a stud, bro.
King, bro.
I want a T-shirt with him on it. Just him with with tigers, bro, like Mike Tyson. Just, anyway, no, I said with Peter Overton. I would think that having a dot point would take me out of the conversation. I would want to talk to him and then be like in his conversation rather than residually looking at what to talk next, because then
that's gonna throw him. That would throw any guest off.
No, he'd be used to it. He'd be used to it. He's in the media all the time.
Well,
yeah, but still, it's like. But even if he's used to it, it's also kind of like, oh, this guy's not real on the ball. Like he'd lose interest. I feel
I
like
disagree. I think it would throw him off that I'm just talking to him. He's grown up in media where it's time frames, dot points, agendas.
That's
what if I sat down?
Use dot points, he'd be like, "Oh, this is boring. Like, I do it all the time." But
wait, so you're saying you wouldn't want dot points?
I'm saying if you were to go about your approach with no dot points, that'd be. I feel like that'd be better.
100%.
Yeah.
Because he would be a bit spooked, or like he'd embrace it because he's grown up, with old school media, like rules, regulations, time frame.
Always got a fucking notepad. Journal,
hey Pete, sit down, chat as long as you want. I'm here to listen. I'm here to talk. I want to just find out about you. And he'd be like,
your brain apart, bro.
He'd be like, what? But I feel like maybe like 15 minutes in, he'd sink into he'd come in off his world, seek into our frequency and just chat.
Yeah.
You got to pull someone in with those, just being yourself. Being yourself pulls someone into trusting and being themselves. You open up to someone, they open up back to you, Tom, explain yourself. You haven't introduced yourself.
I'm just the sound tech.
You're more than the sound tech. You're Thomas McGlynn, bro.
Yeah, bro. You're part of the fucking group. You're a big part of the group. Just like we all are. Well, no. Imagine we all are.
I know. See, this is the part where I get thrown off.
Yeah, because you're trying to answer a question. You're trying to come up. Well, how about I ask you questions and you just answer?
Yeah, we'll do that.
All right. So you love your music.
Yes.
Where did that stem from originally? Was it from Foo Fighters? Was that what grabbed you, or did you always have this passion? Like, what made you want to be a musician? Is it intrinsic? Was it extrinsic? Were you born to be it, or did you grow into it?
I don't know. I'd like to think. I like to think that everyone's kind of born with their purpose. Like everyone, like it's
fate.
Your fate. Yeah, it's written out for you.
Okay.
But I don't know. I started playing music. I started playing guitar when I was 13 maybe, and then
only 13. That's late when you think about it. Like
I stopped playing. I went to a performing arts school and I got asked to leave for reasons.
Bad boy. No, Kurt Cobain over here, paving your own way.
Prick. Anyway.
Esoteric,
I
man.
had to leave, and that kind of ruined music for me for like 2 years maybe.
Ruined it for you.
Yeah, I didn't touch a guitar, I didn't sing or anything.
From that bad experience, the trauma of it.
Well, so I played guitar when I was... Sorry, actually, I would have started playing guitar when I was 11 or 12, and then I hated playing guitar. I did not enjoy it whatsoever.
Yep.
And then I got into that performing arts school for singing, but I didn't tell anyone that. I told people that I got in for guitar because I was embarrassed. And then after I had to leave that school, shut up.
No, I'm being serious. Like, that's shit that you have to, like, change your passion.
It doesn't matter now.
Yeah, of course. You're here now.
Yeah, but after I left that school, I stopped playing. I didn't talk about it. And then a kid moved to my school from overseas, the new school I was at, and he was really interested in music. So I was a good mate with him. So I got picked back up guitar. And then, I don't know, I think he introduced me to a few different, like, he introduced me to Hendrix and stuff like that, like things I hadn't listened to before. I'd only listened to music that was on the radio. I wasn't interested in anything else, and like Dad was forcing cold chisel on me, and I wasn't really a big fan of that.
Yeah.
But then I guess after he started introducing me to different types of music, I was more inclined to go and look for different types of music. And then so after like finding Foo Fighters and stuff like that, that kind of pushed me more in a direction rather than just music itself. It was like, I want to make this music, or I want to listen to that specifically. Yeah.
So what do you think was the turning point where you went, all right, let's lock in, let's actually go to be a musician? What was the point in your life when you said, hey, this is it, this is where I'm going? When you said, fuck everyone else's choices in life, this is my life, I want to be this.
I think I had like an inkling of it. Like I wanted to do it, but there wasn't, like, you can go to uni and do stuff like in music and all of that, but I can't think of many big musicians who have gone to university or college for music and then made a career out of it as a musician. It doesn't really work.
That could be Wheezy Warzy. There's music comes from many different ways. You don't have to go to uni.
No, great. So like I remember mum was trying to get me to go to uni for music. Well, she wasn't trying to. She just said like
it'd be a good thing to do.
It's just further education in music, which wouldn't be a bad idea, but I don't have much interest in doing university.
Yep.
And then she was telling me to like look for people who were successful and that went to university. And I found John Mayer, and then I found out that he dropped out after 6 months.
Yeah.
And he went to like Berkeley Music College. Like,
that's what happens to all these amazing people. I started uni, I dropped out because I didn't want to do what everyone else did.
Exactly. And that's nothing bad on like the university. It's like pretty prestigious and
bang the table
university.
Again.
But a lot of the people that seem to have made it, I was saying this to you on the car ride here, it doesn't look like they've gone to, except like journalists and stuff like that, because that is quite niche. I mean, there's only so many places you can go with journalism.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily, that's not completely correct, but in terms of you have your, it's very direct, I think is the word I'm looking for. So if you're studying journalism, you're going into like news presenting or reporting, and it's quite specific. But if you're studying like music, like the arts music course, that's fucking everything.
Yeah,
like, but you get in there and you start learning you completely learn it from scratch. Like you start learning how to play piano again, and so they can teach you how to learn keys and read music, which would be helpful for me because I can't do any of that. But I've come this far without it, so I don't feel the need to do it.
Yeah, that's fucking good, because I feel like you could name any artist and none of them would have had to have gone to a university or some kind of extra learning outside of school for their style of music, because it's so original and a school isn't going to be able to teach that.
Yeah, you can't teach uniqueness. That's the whole like further education negates creativity.
It's like you go to learn how to be something, but through being that, they put you in a box and tell you what you need to be, when that is the opposite of what creativity is. Like my favorite journalists it's not like they're not educated. Like one of them is All Gas No Brakes. You heard of him?
Yeah.
Absolute beast. Just crazy guy. Like he grew up, he wanted to go hitchhiking. He just sent it. Went hitchhiking, wrote a book on his own like intuition, has become madly successful making documentaries and actually painting a picture of like the biases in media, and he's this non-biased person who makes funny videos, and it's really deep. You have like Hamilton Morris, is a psychedelic journalist. he's a chemist, but I'm pretty sure I watched a documentary when he was in high school or college making documentaries like without like really being a proper journalist. He might have been studying for it, but this passion was deep in before he actually was a journalist. You know what I mean? Like it's the passion that's what creates a journalist, not actually knowing how to be a journalist.
It's the passion that creates anything.
Yeah.
Anything great. Like
you don't just do it to do it. You have to do something to be like. You have to be passionate to do something. You can't just do it to be passionate. You know what I mean?
You have to be motivated by something, whether that's like Chris with money. That's his drive to be like get the best job that he can, or whether it's just I really like this. I want to master it, just because I want to be fucking good at it. Like, those are the people that are great at those things because they like have that self motivation to go on and do that kind of shit.
I always wonder what made them have the drive for money. Was that their upbringing? Were they born like that? Is it just a different like? Is it just being wired different? Or is it you trying to fulfill a part of your soul? You know what I mean?
Well,
is it trying to make up? I feel like Chris is a pretty whole person. He's come through things and he's a good person. And it's like, I see him and I don't think he's trying to like compensate for anything. I think he is just his personality. He's a giver. It's whether that's sales, whether that's being generous. He's always trying to get things for the boys. This is Chris Howie, our friend, another close mate that will be on the podcast. He'll be the Joey Diaz of our podcast. Funny
Police unit.
Right? And I think that he does it purely because that is, like, it's a deep-rooted part of his personality. It's just to take things that he has and give them to someone else, whether that be through selling books, which is his job, or whether that is, boys, do you want teas? Get a drink. Pump a drink, boys. Grab it out of the fridge. Yeah. He just wants to offload X, Y, and Z to another person. It's a trend that happens in his personality.
Yeah.
And we have formed a friendship around that in a way. And you can learn from him and say, hey, he is good at sales and finances. I can learn from him. He's also very generous. I can learn from him. And that makes us a better human being. And then through having a good friend group of all these like really cool people and people that we think are actually nice people, surround yourself with good people, you become a good person. Which is, I think, is what we've done. Which is why this podcast is going to be so bloody good. I speak with confidence, not arrogance. I swear.
Yeah, well, I feel like with Chris, like, when I say that money is determination, that's just because that's what we need. This is perfect.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Ah.
I've been like this distance the whole
I don't know, man. I don't know, like, I don't know. Sorry, continue. I don't know. We're talking about wanking about distances of mics.
I'm just going here, licking like my lips so they're not fucking dry.
Speak. Yeah.
I have to get going soon.
I didn't want to.
Yeah, so do
Young
I,
Jamie, you can just.
So do I. But yeah, I feel like that's just his. Because that's what we live off. That's the main thing in everyone's life. Like every human, that is what we need to survive basically in this world. Money. Obviously, we don't. People go off the grid and live off the fucking like land.
Yes.
But I feel like if money wasn't our motivation, like if money wasn't the very thing we lived off, like and it was something else, Chris would go for that something else because Chris is like, that's what I need to live. I will go and do that. I feel like that's what Chris's like personality is. Definitely. Like whatever benefits me more in this life, I will go and like try and get.
Of course. And I view like money as in, if there wasn't money, it'd just be trade. And money is a better way of just trading.
It definitely is.
It just makes it's a more streamlined, efficient thing, which has made our society grow so effectively.
Fuck trading potatoes and shit, bro.
Trade potatoes for 2 gold? Like, that's just retarded. Like, how about like potatoes into money, money into gold? Like, it's this middleman that has become the god of our Western society because everyone believes in it. It's not real. It's not tangible. It's ones and zeros and ones in the sky, out nowhere. But through our belief in it, like when people believe in Christianity, it gives it a reality, which is why our perception is our reality. If everyone just woke up tomorrow and said, what is this? It's the same as bark on a tree. It means nothing to me. There's so much of it. I don't need it. And everyone rejected the idea of money. And everyone says, no, let's just grab shit. It'd be carnage. But you could do it if everyone truly believed. You could put a spray in the air and everyone goes, I don't give a fuck about money anymore. Or the world, I can't even...
It would collapse,
I
bro.
cannot... Or maybe we're at a point of such privilege that we can go, oh, and now just divvy up things evenly. That's the ultimate, like, half glass half full type of way of looking at it. But, like, we have all this abundance. Say, oh, if money doesn't mean anything, are you going to take it from people or are you going to give to people?
No, this world is so fucked. It wouldn't. None of that would happen. It'd just go into riots and fucking people would be murking each other.
It'd be fucked.
It'd be.
Well, look at what happened when the protests
It would
happened.
be fucking insane, cunt.
Remember the protests? I remember seeing videos, and it was in Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
At the time when the Black Lives Matter protests had just kicked off.
Yeah.
And it was all like the people who were just capitalizing on like a really shit situation.
Yeah, they took away from what it meant.
100%.
Sad, eh?
Like, look at what happened. Like, they rioted. Well, they weren't even the rioters. They were just looting. And that was like a very good example of money just went out the window. People didn't care about that. They weren't stealing money. Like, they were fucking... I saw a video of... it was 5 kids in Santa Cruz running out of a surf store with 4 boards under their arm each. And those boards, like $900 boards.
Best day of their life.
Yeah.
But it's wrong.
It's wrong. 100% it's wrong. But they made it.
Because what happened was that man's business now goes under.
Exactly.
And you've legit rippled effect and you've butterfly affected his whole life and he might even end up killing himself in a year's time. Like, shit like that can happen. Or because some kids ran in just because the mob mentality told them they was allowed. Society in that one day told them that it's okay and they just took advantage of that. They had no ethics. They didn't hold themselves true. They just got affected by the mob. Like, that's how powerful society is. If you're with a group of people that says, it's okay to do this, you'll do it.
Sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes people are just after the fucking... I want to feel a bit fucking risky. I want to do something a bit risky. Like,
Go
what can I do?
skydiving.
I can steal something. Oh.
Don't hurt another person.
Very true.
Some people just live in that. But,
Yeah. Well, what time are you going? How long are we going for?
I don't know. It doesn't say time. But a while.
We just keep going.
Well,
I've got to
have to run.
I've got to be fucking done by like 5:30. So
6 minutes.
6 minutes. Yeah, let's fucking talk about something.
All right,
okay.
let me run into the black hole scenario. Can I bring in the black hole?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with that in 6 minutes.
All right, Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking to this kid, and you look up. It's called Neil deGrasse Tyson blows a kid's mind, and he asks the question of what happens when a black hole collides with a black hole. Neil deGrasse Tyson is blown away. He goes, "How could you even how does a child your age conceive this idea of this such an important question?" And you'd expect Neil deGrasse Tyson to go, they just collide and it boom, creates a big one. But he goes in deep on this and he says, what actually happens is, like, when they hit, there is a point in time when the disruption of the fabric of space-time gets rippled and ripped and fucked, like skull fucked so hard by these things getting close, right? There is a point when they collide that there is this point in between the two black holes, which is a ripple in space-time. It could be a wormhole, they believe, right? So they think, well, this is what I speculate. He never said it could be a worm, but I think it, like, from my own drawing conclusions, which has no basis in any evidence, right? I think that it might be like a wormhole. The whole scenario of this being a ripple in time is backed up by Einstein's equations, right? Proven. He said it was beyond Neil deGrasse Tyson's comprehension of physics. He is not smart enough, which goes to show the depth of knowledge that humans have, right? That Neil deGrasse Tyson, the spokesperson of science, isn't smart enough. Like, that is ridiculous, right?
Incredible.
So I see this, right? In between here, there's a point in the middle of these two colliding black holes where it's where space-time is so collided, it is the opposite of something. His black hole, which is nothing, something, it's in between that. It's intangible. It's another realm, right? Essentially, right? And he says, if you come at that and you hit the trajectory to go in between the two black holes, you will exit at the time you went in, which means it's a time warp. It doesn't exist. If you think of that, it's like enter a circle at 6 o'clock. You exit at 6 o'clock. Then you enter back into it at 6 o'clock. You exit it at 6 o'clock. It's just it doesn't, so that isn't comprehensible. So they must speculate what that is. So you think like that is it's a portal to the next dimension. It might be the next thing, right? So I was thinking, all right, if we go deeper on this, a black hole is at the center of our galaxy. Black holes are at the center of galaxies, and that's what creates the mass, which makes galaxies like the Milky Way and the Andromeda Galaxy orbit around a black hole. And humans can't even go to Andromeda because our speed isn't fast enough. We have to create wormholes to really go places. So we can't go to a black hole because it's too far.
We could find one because there are rogue black holes.
Yeah, but that's still so far away because like we're in this galaxy, we're in this big black hole. Yeah. Then in that zoom in galaxy in that solar system, and we can't even get from one galaxy to a galaxy. Imagine trying to get to that black hole. So you think further in time, billions and billions of years ago, billions and billions of years forward, humans are hella advanced. A whole other generation, just like perfect beings, higher beings, more evolved, if you would say, right? They are coming to the end of the universe. Our galaxy, our whole black hole galaxy is colliding with another black hole. So the only ever time that a black hole would collide with another black hole is when our world is ending, is when humans either cease to exist forever or they send it through that trajectory, right? Because humans can't get to other black holes at the moment, limited to our thingo, right? Limited to our technology. But say they were to discover a wormhole and to go through it. Therefore, they can escape that first black hole colliding, right? But eventually, the universe, black holes go into black holes, go into black holes, turn into bigger black holes, right? Then eventually there'll only be 2 black holes left, and humans will be wherever they are, maybe just floating in this self-sufficient space realm, right? The last black holes collide, and that destroys our universe. It'll just end everything, right? It is the end of the universe in billions and billions and billions of years. So the humans are there at that point, the last hurrah of our whole universe. As soon as that black hole connects, boom, one black hole implode, our universe ceases to exist forever, right? So these humans are there, and they go, all right, we need to get our Genesis ship and shoot on that trajectory, and we're going in where you never come out. Boom, they go in. Wormhole, they shoot, boom, they land in another universe. And then they go around in this super advanced ship and go to a place called Earth. And then they drop, like the start of Prometheus, they drop a person onto the river. He commits suicide. A god commits suicide and puts his genetics into the water to create intelligent life. Then humans evolve from that, and then humanity is created. And then one of the wanks, right? I thought, all right, how would you create a storyline? There's this man called Adam. He is a time traveler. He discovers time traveling. Time travels to the end of time with these people. There's a lot of shit that goes on, but I can't really, we're running out of time. He time travels to the end of time. He's with these higher beings. He becomes enlightened, bro, with these people. They say, he's asked, why don't you guys have genders? He goes, genders causes problems, just like we witness now. If we get rid of genders, we evolve mentally, right? So he says, all right, gender is stupid. You guys don't eat meat. He goes, realistically, who are you? He goes, you guys can survive without meat. Yes. So why do you eat meat? You're causing harm to animals. It makes no sense. He's like, oh, but I've just grown up eating meat. That's how it is. He goes, no, you don't need to eat meat. It doesn't matter what your society thinks. When you die, the next generation won't eat meat because they'll know it's morally wrong. And as you evolve morally, you become enlightened as people. So in thousands of years, they'll look back on us eating meat and they'll look at us like savages, like we look at the Spartans killing each other for sport. Savages. They'll think of that the same way we thought about eating meat. So he's enlightened. He becomes aware of all these things. He shoots to the next generation. They go to another planet, and he's like, they drop off. They create Earth or whatever planet it is. Then they go to another Earth as in a habitable planet. They ask him, "What do you want to do?" And he goes, "Can you give me my own planet?" They say, "Sure. There's billions of planets. We're gonna spread life across the whole galaxy of this universe, and then the system will start again. The black holes will end, and then I have to shoot through the next one." That's how humanity is created and exists. It's a sequence, a paradox that keeps happening. So he drops down on his own thing, and they say, he drops down on his own planet, and they say, "Would you like anything?" And he says, "Can I go back and get my wife?" so I can die a happy man. And he says, sure. They warn him. They say, are you sure? Mixing genders is not smart. You should not bring your wife. It'll just cause issues, right? Because it is a lower, it's lower enlightenment. You've enlightened. How about we bring back your wife and you, and we evolve you, and we make you non-gendered, so you guys will be a better species. He goes, you don't need to reproduce. We're too superior for that. We only needed reproduction like that to get us to that point where we could no longer need it. It was an evil that was necessary to evolve, and now it's no longer needed. It dies out, just like our movable ears die out through evolution. We no longer need it, so it just goes away. So he says, no, I disagree. I want my wife. He goes, all right, I'll go get her. What's her name? So I can go find her. He goes, her name's Evelyn, bro. Adam and Eve, right? They fucking land. They're chilling. There's animals around them. It's utopia. The Garden of Eden, bro, right? His name is Adam Eden in the movie. It'd be fucking weird, right? It just freak people out. So then they're living life. They're happy. They're enjoying it. And she goes up to him because she hasn't experienced the enlightenment over the years and years and years. He's time traveled with these people for thousands of years. He's an enlightened being. She isn't. She's only the product of her time, just like we're the product of our time. She goes, Adam, I'm so hungry. I just want to eat meat. Can we kill that rabbit and cook it and eat it? And he says, no, we can't do that. They said don't do it, or we will no longer be enlightened and evolved. She's like, no, please. Why? What's wrong? We just eat meat. We've always eaten meat our whole life. Let's just eat meat. And he's like, no, they said. This goes on forever. She eventually convinces him. So he sharpens a stick, and the rabbit's just sitting there. Just fucking destroys the rabbit as it looks at him. The rabbit had no idea. The rabbit had no idea what was going to happen. He just did the most mean thing. He killed an innocent animal that had no fear. Fear wasn't a thing for this thing. They regress back to the apes that they are. Their enlightenment is stripped away from them because they have acted in a horrible way, right? This is ending, right? So then these people feel ashamed. They're like, look at us. We're disgusting. So then they evolve. Then they regress. They feel ashamed. They cover up. Then there were human tribes, right? Then they join human tribes, and then they try and enlighten the human tribes with their limited knowledge, but they eventually die out, and that begins the evolution of humans. Adam and Eve teach them language. They teach them agriculture, the evolution. Then the cycle dies. They die out. Their family continues. The smart people, boom. The tribes get smarter and smarter and smarter. They kill off the other human beings. Boom. Society creates again. Boom. Another Adam is born. Discovers time travel. Time travels to the end of time. Meets the same people that they met. This Adam is a prophecy from the last generation of people. And then the movie ends. That's it. That's how it fucking ends. It's just it's a cyclic paradox. What?
You know how you're saying you go through the space in between the black holes?
Yes.
You enter at 6 o'clock, you leave at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
They enter knowing everything, and they leave knowing everything. They go do all that shit, regress, come back, and then they enter again knowing everything. So it's just like that.
Exactly.
It's completely... Even though
they actually go on a journey over billions of years, they still have to end up going back in just to come back out. Mm-hmm. So it could either be the longest journey ever or the shortest journey ever. You could go in and out, in and out, in and out. But that in and out, leave at 6 o'clock, enter at 6 o'clock is the same paradox as go through a wormhole, create life in a whole other universe. The universe ends, go through that thing again. That is just the same. Enter at 6 o'clock, leave at 6 o'clock. No time has passed. Their universes have ended. Anyway, that's what I wanted to express. Do you reckon that's interesting?
I feel like that was very botched, your explanation, because I've got to go, and so is Tom. But because we've talked about this before. Like I was there when you were coming up with the script, and we were bouncing ideas off each other.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good script. Like it makes sense, but that was kind of a bit.
Yeah,
so,
I was just trying to get it out.
Yeah, I know. That's why I reckon I was going to tell you maybe you should explain it next episode when we got plenty of time. But
it's what it is. Hopefully, if someone hears it and it's the first time they've ever heard it, it'll be really interesting.
Well, that about do it for the first episode of Night Meetups. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I have been your host,
Just
Angus
ladies.
Munro.
Fuck the boys.
Did we just have a whole conversation about how gender doesn't matter?
You weren't meant to be wrapping up the show.
No, I only want LGBT listening to this. Fuck
the
humans.
fuck
Fuck the cisgender.
Alright, I've been
Anyway.
Angus Munro. You've been Harry Stretton. Our guest has been Tom Echo. Follow him on
AKA Young
Spotify.
Jamie.
Like his
Young
song
Jamie.
Smile.
Thank
And, see you in the next one.
That's that. Peace out.
Alright.